of course, do the Pledge of Allegiance. Stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go ahead and do a quick roll call, and then first order of business would be to make a motion for an acting chair. So, Assessor Mona Pry.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Kazmierczak. Here. Clerk Giuliano is here. Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee McKenzie.
Here.
Trustee Carabota.
Here.
Trustee Sweeney.
Here.
Okay. Then go ahead and ask for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion for the chair to be Claire McKenzie.
Second.
Claire McKenzie.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and call the roll on that. Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Okay.
First item on the agenda is the approval. Oh, thank you. I think we changed that, thanks. Oh, that's okay, I have my stuff. The approval of the minutes of July 31st, 2019 special board meeting bill pay review.
Make a motion to approve the special board meeting bill pay review of July 31st.
Second.
Are there any, is there any discussion? Hearing none, can we call for a vote?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Next on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the July 31st, 2019 special board meeting.
Make a motion for approval of the minutes for the Maine Township special board meeting which took place July 31, 2019.
Any second?
Yes, second.
Any discussion? Yes.
On page 6, under official reports, I would like to, about 7 paragraphs down, Attorney Askew commented. I want to substitute the word commented for the rest and delete explain that board members can't speak all the time, the rest of the paragraph. And then put see video at 3 hours 19-57.
What do you want to do? After trustee Sweeney commented,
You want to comment and not escape, yes.
Right, period, not just commented, period.
Attorney Askew commented, period. See video 3:19:57.
Second.
See video, we're at 3:19.
3:19:57.
what's your objection the way it is? I
Um,
mean, that's what actually happened.
I listened to the video and there was no comment about, there was reference to the subject for discussion that board members should not give their opinions. Attorney Askew had not said that. So I think for clarification, what we talked about several times is that we should reference the video.
Well, I have a question for our attorney, because I was not clear on that. Maybe we can get clarification on this to make it more clear. I think there was some confusion. I believe that there was a statement that anybody can participate publicly, whether they're elected officials or not. Correct?
In public comment or board meeting?
In public participation.
Yes.
Okay. And I think this was on the heels of that, because I think during public participation, I think.
So this was at the end of the meeting.
This was at the end of
It
the
said that
meeting.
it wasn't part of public participation, and trustee Sweeney wanted to make a comment, and she was cut off, and that's when Attorney Askew said, it's not, you can't comment at this time because there's nothing on the table. And you can only comment, and that's why I am asking. This is actually what happened, so I don't understand.
No, he did not state that the board members should not give their opinions. I listened to it several times
You
in the
did, and you
comments.
said, I'm a trustee, I can
That-
talk,
no.
I'm a trustee. I can
Those were
wait."
not his words, and you can listen to it. I
We should
listened
just
to it.
get clarification, because there was some confusing statements. So, when is it proper for a board member to comment or speak?
Under Robert's rules.
Right,
Robert's rules.
Okay, so Section 4 of Robert's Rules says a member who desires to speak in debate must obtain the floor. In the debate, each member has a right to speak twice on the same question on the same day, but cannot make a second speech on the same question so long as any member who has not spoken on that question desires the floor. A member who has spoken twice on a particular question on the same day has exhausted the right to debate the question for that day. Without the permission of the assembly, no one can speak longer than permitted by the rules of the body. I don't think we've imposed a time limit here for trustees to speak. And I'm not sure, what context it came up with, but it says debate must be confined to the merits of the pending question. Speakers must address their remarks to the chair, maintain a courteous tone, and especially in reference to any divergence of opinion, should avoid injecting a personal note into the debate. To this end, they must never attack or make any allusion to the motives of members, and they should refer to officers only by title and should avoid the mentions of others' members' names as much as possible. So that is generally the rule. So there's really two different issues. One is that then if you have comments to make what you do about that, and that's why you're available to also use the public comment section. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, very good.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's very
So
good.
what were you reading from, a rule?
Robert's Rules of Order, and I have the 11th edition. So, Section 4, paragraphs 1 through 25 address that. And I have copies of it too, if people want to look at it.
Okay. Do you have it with you?
Yeah, I have the book and I also have some copies. I brought a couple copies.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting that.
Thank you again.
Any other discussion? No?
Oh, may I?
I would like to make an
Yeah,
amendment
one
to the
more
budget.
thing. I think there was also a question that came up regarding calling for the question. What
Yes.
happens when that happens?
Yes.
So just because we're talking about parliamentary things and I have everything else, let me just look at that. So that's addressed by Section 16 of Robert's Rules of Order. And this is what it says. A motion such as I call for or call the question or I move we vote now is simply a motion for the previous question made in a non-standard form and subject to all the usual rules. Care should be taken that failure to understand this fact does not lead a violation to the member's right of debate. And this is where it gets kind of tricky. Sometimes the mere making of a motion for the previous question or to call for the question may motivate unanimous consent to ending debate. Before or after such motion has been seconded, the chair may ask if there is an objection to closing debate. If members object or try to get the floor, the chair should ask if there is a second to the motion or call, or if it's already been seconded, he must immediately take a vote on whether to order the previous question. But regardless of the wording of the motion or call seeking to close debate, it always requires a second and a 2/3 vote taken separately and before the votes on the matter to which it is applied to shut off debates against the will of even one board member who wishes to speak and has not exhausted his right to debate. And then that refers back to the previous section, giving people. So it kind of depends when that motion is made. If you've been talking about things for a long time, you make a motion to call the question and everyone has spoken on it, or the people who haven't spoken don't want to, then it can be called immediately with a vote. But it can't be used, like if someone makes a motion and second, if someone makes a motion to close debate before anyone's spoken. So it's a little nuanced as far as the timing of that.
Thank you.
Susan, I think you were asking to amend these minutes.
Yes, and the second,
That's my second.
Okay, so amend for what you had just talked about.
Correct.
Can we call the question, or can we approve the minutes as
as
amended?
amended.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweet?
Yes.
And the agenda is approval of general assistance expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of August 9th, 2019 and August 23rd, 2019, and general assistance checks 52117 through check number 52184 in the amount of $61,326.68.
Second. Any discussion? Can we call for?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Can I have all the general assistance?
I just passed it.
Next is the approval of the road district expenditures. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates, August 9, 2019, and August 23, 2019. Road district checks number 21001 through check number 21034 in the amount of,
3.5, it was.
oh, that's right. So through checks number 21035 in the amount of $544,224.01.
Just to clarify the record, the reason why this was amended to include an additional check to 1035 was to change or correct the payee on a check payable to Arrowhead. So we just corrected that. Same amount.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I have one point to make. We apparently charge the capital fund for yard waste stickers in the amount of
$6,000.
That would be general content. I don't handle garbage stickers.
I'm sorry?
I don't handle garbage stickers.
It's general compound.
Oh, this is the wrong. Okay, sorry. Take it back. Okay, you.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Next is the approval of the general town fund expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of August 9th, 2019 and August 23rd, 2019, and general town fund checks number 57044 through check number 57144 in the amount of $304,329.56.
Second.
Any discussion? Trustee Sweeney.
Thank you. I requested that check number 57062 to Ansel Klink for the date of, what did I say, Leisha?
The date was 7/12.
7/12. There was an 8-hour charge not itemized, so I'm requesting that that be itemized as it's a 8-hour charge that's not detailed. So, Carrie Lynn, if you
You have no description?
just, I don't have it.
It was basically one line that said meeting, and there's about one sentence. that
Supervisor?
says- And it says 8 hours, so I think what is it, subject to an itemization
Yeah.
account. We just approve it subject to an itemization account.
Does that make sense?
So the description said that was at the meeting that we had to go over the budget and everything? Because I didn't say that the meeting was with the auditor and the supervisor to review the budget or?
I think it referenced auditor and supervisor. Yeah,
Yeah.
Give me that number again.
it's check number
57062.
That's fine.
Yeah, 572. Prepare for and meet with supervisor, staff, and auditor regarding numerous issues. 8 hours.
What were you looking for?
What were the numerous issues? Any detail behind?
Oh, okay.
For an 8-hour charge, it just seems reasonable to.
Well, yeah, it was the budget issue, it was the transition, since we had an employee leaving, how do we handle the various employment applications, the employment application process, the conversion possibly of that employee's position into, the auditor perform those functions full-time, and then the budgetary issues related to that. And I think we also were discussing a pending litigation matter related to a gentleman who filed a department-related claim. So, I mean,
Okay,
We
can specify that?
Yeah, subject to getting it, subject to annexation.
I think she just gave it to
you want me to write that down?
Yeah, before we get banned for the file.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
You want to get the bill and I'll
We'll cancel the
write-
billing. Right,
Do you want me to write it on there?
that way it's in there. Yeah. Why don't we do that?
And you can pass this.
Started to mark it up. Fix it. Secondly, yeah, and on the mainline vouchers that we have, the 20 vouchers, I'm requesting that we,
What check number is that?
that is check number 57061. That we issue those with names? Have we done that before? Are you aware, Dana?
I'm sorry.
Just for the vouchers that we issue, there's no names attached? Like for each voucher that's issued, to whom the voucher is issued?
American Charge Service
The
20
mainline vouchers?
Vouchers.
They are, well, they have for the cab companies? Is it the $5?
Yes.
Yeah, well, we can't get the name of the GA client. Are you saying for the cab companies or for the GA client?
Are they all GA? Because it's in the town fund?
Yes.
This is in the town fund?
Right, it comes out of town fund, right, it's GA client.
So we can't give the GA clients? That's why we don't have names? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I understand. And the last, I think, was the check number 57064 for the capital fund. Yeah, the Republic.
which was I was referring to earlier. So we have an expense item of $6,400 payable to Republic SBC number 551. And under description, it says capital fund yard waste stickers. So I think that, yard waste stickers should not be in capital fund. Anybody can chime in if they disagree.
Well, that should not be there. We have a line item in the audit last year for us, which is, I'll remove it.
So I will have to reclassify it.
So I looked at the actuals this year, so the line item, we actually didn't spend anything, so it was net zero, so we had to take out the line item, and we just didn't know where to take it out of. But yes, you're correct, it's not appropriate to take it out of there, so we just have to decide where else to take it out. So, yes.
It's one of those things where we have the revenue that come in,
Right.
expense that offsets it, so we'll just move it to an expense account and then, so you can see it out of the capital fund. And the revenue will come in and then it offsets each other.
Meaning it will not be in capital fund, right? It will not be coming out of capital.
Correct.
We'll move
Okay.
it to the right place.
Okay, so that will be moved
Thank you.
to the appropriate, to be determined, and let us know or reflect the record as to where it gets
Yeah.
moved to.
Can you then, somebody send us an email just following up saying you
Yeah.
moved it?
Thank you. That's it.
So subject to those amendments, my second would stand up with those amendments. Yeah, we have the itemization of 57062 being returned back to the file. Thank you.
One other question, Chair, may I ask?
Sure.
Just point of clarification, perhaps Richard, you can comment on this, the legal consultation for Barbara Weiner that's once a year for $800.
Yes, that's to cover a fee for her to be accessible to answer any questions about client-related matters, confidentiality. If you want, I updated a memo that I prepared about this a couple of years ago, so I can hand this out, and this will give you a full description of what it covers.
That's check number 57104 to Barbara Weiner for $800 for legal consultation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Haven't answered any other
You
questions.
must have just known. Can I ask about
I thought
that?
just in case, I'll bring something.
Thank you.
Sure.
Should we supplement the file?
That'd be great if, supplement the file with the memo that was provided by Richard.
So trustee Careboda, then what amendments ultimately are remaining to this?
I would say the amendments addressing the change from capital fund on the $6,400, the amendment to the check reference to Ansel claim 57062, incorporating the itemization, thank you. Check number for $800 payable to Barbara Weiner. Check number 57104, supplemented with the legal consultation program itemization tendered to the board.
So two of those have supplementation and two of them will not be paid?
Everything's being
Oh, they're just adding.
Yeah, it's just, we just wanted,
Okay.
we already had a second to the motion to pay, and I was just making comments, those amendments.
Okay, so can we call the roll on the amendments?
Are you clear, Deisha?
Yes, but do we have like a second motion with the
Yes,
amendments?
I'm seconding with the amendments.
Okay, so
Yes,
motion with.
I made the amendment, he seconded.
Okay, gotcha, thank you.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Careboda?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Next is public participation. Do we have any members of the public that wish to comment or speak? Yes. Now, can you take the podium and tell us your name and address, please?
Hi everybody, my name is Enrique. Hello. Hi everybody, my name is Enrique. I live on 8828 Robin Drive, Unit C.
I'm sorry.
8828 Robin Drive.
Robin Drive.
Yes, Unit C. I'm coming here because I've been visiting the township about some concerns I have. I just moved in like 5 months ago, and all around this neighborhood is really bad. Talking about clean stuff, people just throw garbage, and I've been in a couple of arguments with the neighbors. She saw me coming here like 3-4 times already. I assist to the last meeting the township has downstairs. I don't have any answers because I talked to Mr. Nato,
The code enforcement officer.
and I'm trying to get some help because, we want to live in a clean environment. I got a 3-year-old kid. My neighbor has a dog in the back there barking all day until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Excuse my language, but he got all dog poop all over the yard. The smell is disgusting. I can't even make a barbecue because it's really bad. And I talked to Mr. Nato, and he's like, oh, I can't do anything. What do you mean you can do anything? As soon as I move, you guys, township, put a paper on my door, tell me if you don't cut my grass, I'm gonna get in trouble, get a court, or stuff like that. But he says, he can enforce anything to the other guys, to my other neighbors. I got a lady in front of my unit. She's dealing with the same situation. I'm sorry, my English is not that
Okay,
good.
no, it's fine.
So I'm here to trying to get some help because I'm really being so desperate.
Okay.
Because last time I have to call the cops. The sheriff can, but they don't do anything. So I mean, I don't want to be arguing with my neighbors all the time or calling the cops every day. It's not.
Okay, well, you shouldn't be put in a position like that. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I know that Doreen, who is our administrative assistant, has her hand up. Perhaps she has some answers or at least a process that we can suggest.
It is my understanding that our code enforcement officer contacted the inspector. We only have one Cook County inspector for this area, and he is spread real thin because he has so many areas to go to, and sometimes it takes a while. But I've got your information, Enrique, and I will check with him tomorrow on that, and one of us will call you back.
Yeah, because.
But what did the police say when you called the police? They can't do anything, right?
I mean, they can force anybody
Force
to
him to,
do
yeah.
anything.
Clean up his
But
yard.
I mean, for me, so far I've been living in here. If I don't do my lawn, I
Right,
gotta
no,
take it away.
There's, ordinances that everybody has to live by, so I don't know if there's any ordinance regarding the dog poop or the dog barking in the middle of the night, but it sounds like our code enforcement officer is doing what needs to be done and contacted the inspector, and the township is on it. So I suggest that, let's give Doreen and our code enforcement officer time to work with the inspector. Like Doreen said, they're spread thin. It's gonna take some time. Maybe you can call the inspector as well. Maybe you can come, every couple of days and check, on the status. And, I'm sure that they will talk to you and let you know what the status is.
Just for the record, last time I talked to Mr. Nato, he says he can't do anything. That's why I come here. Because
So
I'm
it
not-
sounds like what he's referring to is maybe there's not a specific ordinance that he
Right.
can enforce, which I don't know what the process is to get new ordinances. Maybe we can talk later offline about what can be done about that. You can't be the only person who's had this problem. We're gonna have to investigate further.
Please, because I'm really desperate. Last time I get into a fight with my neighbor.
That's not good.
And I want to avoid all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
Because like I said, I got a 3-year-old kid. I don't want my kid seeing those things. I can't even play with him outside. Because last time I got a guy doing wheelies and his motorcycle. I called the sheriff. Sheriff showed up like 20 minutes later.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only have, the police and enforcement people that we have, are, like Doreen said, our resources are spread thin. So, but, we're on it. You need to, keep checking status. I don't know if anybody else has any
Yeah, we,
advice.
on Robin Drive last year, or over the winter, we ended up spending, I know Susan and myself, we spent a lot of time in that area. We worked with Donna Adam from Clean Up Give Back. I believe we had to run at all that garbage, and we took a lot of garbage out. I know exactly what you're saying. These people are parking their cars up along that fence. They open their driver's side door, and they're dumping their garbage out the driver's side door all along that fence. We cleared all that, and Susan and I even got into the cleanup, and they pulled over a great number of bags of garbage. I believe this is around November, December of last year. There's also a water problem in one of those alleys right there that it turns to ice, et cetera, to try to get the drain off. So definitely aware of it. I'm glad you stepped up because we have so much going on, we have to maybe give this a little more priority, as trustee McKenzie is saying. And let's see if we can get back in it. We'll also contact, see if we can reach out to Donna Adam. And it's a volunteer program that she runs called Clean Up Give Back. And let's see if we can get in there and try to get this garbage out. And maybe I can even walk around door to door and ask people nice that they would clean up and not, leave messes. We want to try to keep a nice community. It's a very tight community. It's a somewhat congested area. And as what trustee McKenzie is saying, we'll do the best we can.
Also, that fence that he referred to along the side and next to the pond there, we had thought that was an actual drive because it looks like a road, but that's private property and parceled by individual units. So that is not something that is a public access that we can own and do something about. Other than we can, as Dave suggested, help with code enforcement. I mean, if it's property, we can do something via ordinance possibly. But also, is it on your property, or that you're referring to the dog poop, or is it just in general?
It's just my neighbor. It's in general.
It's just everywhere?
The smell is
Okay.
beyond disgusting.
Okay.
I'm trying to, I asked the generator here, he said I have to call the health department in Cook County. I called them, they sent me back to here. I talked to again here, but I feel like a tennis ball, just back and forth.
Yeah.
Right. I understand your frustration.
I'm in and out of that area all the time by losing in general. So if you were to also give me your number, I could be in touch with you, working with the rest of the board. Maybe I can also stop by and say hello and ask if we can try to get that
Sure.
matter addressed.
And,
Okay?
anything I can help with?
Thank
But
you.
keep in contact with
Yes.
Doreen.
Yes.
I would also like to point out that Nader and I have been working on trying to clean up Robin Drive. Nader actually delivered over 200 letters personally
Very
to
good.
each one of the houses in Robin Drive. So we've been trying to clean it up. The problem is the majority of these people are renters. They're not owners, so they don't give a darn about property. And every time we get a complaint about garbage, Nader's got Republic out there cleaning up. With respect to the poop, well, that's something, he did call the Cook County inspector. I'm absolutely 100% sure on that to come out and address your issue. Maybe the second time, maybe the first time he told you no, but I know he and I have talked about it. Because I have talked to you at least 2 or 3 times and everything else, so.
What did the letter say, Doreen?
It was just reminding them about the garbage, about cleaning up their property with spring coming, about the weeds and everything else. Tickets will be issued up to $500. I mean, it was a good letter that he and I worked on. And like I said, he delivered.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
I just want to thank you for coming here tonight and letting us know, because sometimes we're not aware of the nitty-gritty.
Thank you for
I appreciate you taking the time and telling us, and we'll work on it with you.
I got your name on the top.
So can I ask you something? Have you gone to Neighborhood Watch? Have you talked to the Cook County Sheriff, Police? I'm concerned about the barking dog. I know that's got to be kind of
I'm sorry.
about the barking dog. And were you at Neighborhood Watch? And you were able to talk to the county sheriff at our Neighborhood Watch meeting?
I talked to the sheriffs. And
Maybe you can talk
We can do
to
anything about
Assessor Cry after you, if you wouldn't mind, if you would step off the podium so we can have the next public
I'm
participation.
sorry.
That's okay. 'Cause
But you're going to note that for me.
we're, any other public participation. Okay. Moving to our first old business topic, it's Barton Marketing Group contract renewal. We received 2 additional proposals, and I thank you, Dick, who's in the audience. And there were a couple of questions about the wording in the proposed contract. I believe there were some proposed revisions that were sent around, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I know that I received it, I think Dave sent it, and Susan said she received it. Kim, did you receive it?
Yes.
I have reviewed it and I make a motion to propose the hourly contract as revised and resent by trustee Carabota today to the trustees.
Second?
Any discussion?
Is that one of the two that were in the board packet? Or
No, there was a
I have a
revised.
digital one I can.
And it's in the blue folder, I also put it there. No, it's not in the board packet because we didn't have it, but it's here if you guys, it's number 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, very good.
So it would have to be signed.
And Dick, you received,
I did.
is there any discussion?
There's a typo in here, I just wanted to point out, under 4A, line 3, it reads, it may be extended by mutual extended. I'm pretty sure you want a different word there after mutual.
Agreement?
Agreement.
So,
Oh, yes, if we can,
Dick, are you okay with these revisions?
Yeah, that's fine, I just want to have 60 days, but if you want 30, I can agree to it.
So you're okay with
The rest is fine.
everything you do being approved by the whole board before you do it?
My fear is, and I told you this earlier, that some of the new arrangements might get a little clumsy in terms of delay with approvals and input and stuff. We'll just have to work it out. We'll do our best to keep the hours under control, but you know, reporting to additional folks could lead to more delay in some projects. So just be aware of it, and if you're fine with that, we'll work with it.
Thank you, Dick.
That's my concern, that the time we spend tracking everybody down to prove it is going to really increase the fees, the hourly fee. If you're okay with that, I mean.
Well, we'll give you a detailed tabulation. I keep a daily log. I'm used to that with other clients in the past. Billing is by the quarter hour. So we'll give you a detailed invoice and we'll kind of work together to move along. If you want to see something differently as far as a report or whatever. But, you know, in general, I'm fine. I'm happy to continue working with the township. I enjoy it. I feel we're achieving some nice programs and getting the word out a lot about the good work that the township does. So let's move ahead.
Anybody else?
I don't have a copy of that new one. She said that this wasn't the ones in the board packet. So, because I do deal with it also, you know, with being the assessor. This is, what is this, like an amendment to this?
Yes.
yes.
Or is it
It's
just
a
a whole new
revised-
thing?
No, it's a revised type
Of the hourly.
of the hour.
It's not a, it's
So
not very.
it's not coincided with any of these two, but just completely.
Yes, no, it is the hourly contract that was in the packet.
With amendments.
With a couple of revisions.
Okay. So these do not apply at all, the two that were in my packet?
Correct.
These are written up?
Correct.
I do have a question. The part that says, page 3, where, let's see, it's the part that talks about during, the materials who they belong to, said that only voting members, because I don't have any voting, only voting members can ask a question and about it, but the assessor and the clerk, you know, also have articles. Does that mean that they can't ask a question? Is that what you're trying to say?
Paragraph, I think you're referencing paragraph 7 on page 203. Reads work product, all work product and materials produced by the contractor pursuant to this contract or shall remain the property of the township, period. It any time upon request of any voting township board member, the contractor shall turn over the files and materials specified in the request. Also, upon termination, the contractor shall immediately turn over all files and materials to the township board without the need of any such request.
Yeah, so does that mean, because it specifically says any voting board member, not any board member, if the highway department, the highway commissioner, or the assessor, or the clerk want materials turned over to them that they're not allowed to ask for? Is that what you're saying? Are you excluding them?
Yeah, the township, this is on termination, so it's just that the township receives the materials. So,
But I mean, it was, you made a point of saying only the voting members, but
well, Dick wants the least amount of people to deal with as possible, so. Yes, it is the voting members.
And whenever possible, we can work through one of the full-time staff with channeling input and questions. I'll be available to interview anytime.
Yeah, this is just.
But it's just a matter of getting stuff to you to look at, and getting your input back, that if we can kind of work through Dana and or Vicky, that would facilitate things and expedite things. So if we keep that in mind, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As far as turning over materials, that's pretty standard in our line of work. Files and work product that we produce, it belongs to the client, so that's not out of the ordinary. But to Kim's point, that's up to you guys as far as who can request.
You've been doing this for a while.
40 years.
There you go. Thank you.
before, I mean.
I call a vote.
Before that.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yes, it is just the voting.
It's both.
So my question is, I understand what it says, but I'm asking what the consequence of that is. Does that mean that nobody else can ask for information pertaining, like the highway commissioner can't ask for, he can't request it, or the clerk can't request it, or the assessor can't request it? Information pertaining to their area?
It's not precluding them from
Well, I
getting
mean, the way it's
information.
written, it
As Dick
kinda
said,
is.
it's township product, so.
The way it's written, it is precluding them. So that's what I'm asking. Is that your intention to preclude them from being able to get?
Well, the supervisor
Just to minimize number of
is one of the voting members. So if the road commissioner wants to ask for something, I mean, Dick made a point of saying he didn't want to have too many people that we had to go to. So this is just one place that it's limited instead of extended.
So you're saying, so the answer is yes, they can't, even
Yes.
though they're elected officials and they're heads of their departments, they're not allowed to ask for anything pertaining to their departments.
Until this nobody other than the supervisor and the administrator were interfacing with Dick. So this is a huge expansion of the communication between Barton Group and the town board.
And we'll do our best to make it work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dick.
So can we have a vote on the revised general agreement and contract for professional services for the Barton and Barton Limited, doing business as Barton Marketing Group contract as revised and received today from David Garaboto with the revision to paragraph 4, line 3, from extended to agreements.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
Thank you. If I could be excused, I have a son who just came out of
Yes.
surgery.
Our prayers are with him, Dick.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for coming, Dick. Next is the salary increases, discussion and possible vote. Oh, yes.
I would recommend with respect to the salary increases, because the board packet includes a memo from the supervisor with recommendations, and the supervisor really is the day-to-day overseer of the employees. I think that the board should table this to have the supervisor present to explain her recommendations.
Yes. I make a motion that the salary increases discussion and possible vote is tabled.
I don't know if trustee Carroll heard that.
So I heard it.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion?
No discussion, motion to table.
Oh, okay. Can we call for a vote?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweet?
Yes.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda is under new business, the postage machine lease, discussion and vote. We received a proposed lease from a new vendor in our packet, which is online. Anybody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve the postage machine lease. This is case customer communication, Geo Post. $93.27 a month for a 36-month term amount.
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, Ms. Trustee Sweet.
Yes, perhaps Dana, you could answer this question. No, it says that there were 4 vendors that are authorized providers, and all 4 were contacted. And only Pitney Bowes and Neo Post provided the quotes. Was there no response from?
There was no response, correct. We put in several phone calls and emails to the other 2, and they just never answered back. We try to get as many quotes of course as possible, as many companies, and they just never responded.
Is that unusual that people wouldn't want business? I'm just
No,
wondering.
unfortunately, it's not unusual.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no chance they
You know what,
didn't.
you know, we should guess, Mike, when we try to get work done in the building, how many times we put in calls from contractors and we never get phone calls back? And
Wow.
don't you think people would want business?
I would think as an annuity business in a lease, that they would want to.
I agree.
And I mean, I just was a little sensitive after what we kind of went through 6 months or so ago, where somebody didn't
Correct.
get a response in time, or, you know, so I just wanted to make sure
Right, and
that they were contacted.
They were.
There'd be
I
no
was out of
issue of
town
them
when she-
saying,
Right, I was out of town when she did this.
Yeah.
But I know she put in 2 to 3 phone calls to the 3 emails per company.
okay.
Yeah.
And when Pitney Bowes responded, they did not change off of their previously,
Correct, and that's why
they wanted to hold firm with their
Exactly.
previous,
That's why we're going with this new company, Neo Post, correct?
pardon me?
That's why we're going with this new company, Neo Post. It's, you know, it's a better deal, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we completely closed out the other contract, right? It's
Yes.
expiring
Correct.
31st of
Correct, it does not roll over.
August.
Yes.
Okay. And are there any things that were limited in this, or are we getting the same service?
Same service, yeah. No one will notice any change.
Okay, so it's pretty much a commodity, there's no,
It's just a better deal for the township. Yeah.
All the way around.
No negatives at all. Yeah.
thank you.
Sure. Yes.
Trustee Jones.
So I would like to point out, everybody doesn't see this, the previous contract, we paid $454.72 a month for a total of $16,369.92. And the current contract, which we're discussing right now, is $293.27 per month, which will be invoiced quarterly for a total of $10,557.72. So I just want to applaud Vicki for the great work she did. That's a savings to the township of $5,812.20 a year, which is significant for the same level of service.
She did a great job.
Great. It's a $600 saving.
I do have a question. I don't know where this is in my file, but I thought we could not enter into a police past our term of office. I don't know where I'm getting that from.
Yes.
Because that was news to me when we were doing the copy machine.
Right.
And this 36 months is past our term.
Is that what this is?
Yes, this is a 36-month lease. That's a good point.
And why did we modify the term to expire the month after everybody is elected with the ability to renew?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
I know usually when we meet with vendors, we do let them know that. Again, unfortunately, I was out of town when this took place, but I will look into it. I'll look into that.
Can I ask, is there any workaround to that, or is that an absolute? I mean, it would be, you know, prudent for us to have a 36-month lease, especially
Yeah.
considering it's a commodity, there's no
You can
change.
get discounts for
I mean,
that.
is there any, yeah.
We usually go
I'd
on
rather
with the cheap, you know, the cheaper it is.
Yeah, we don't-
Yeah, I know we do
we'd have to
usually tell
rebid.
vendors, you know, that is, you know, upon term of the board.
Let me look into options that we have for that, because part of the reason for that rule is that they don't want to have the board, the new board's hands tied by the old board, but that usually
Right.
is more like with respect to employment decisions and everything, not necessarily like opposing
Right.
vendors. So, let's look
It's
into,
administrative, I mean, maybe there's like an administrative exception.
so why don't we prove it subject to review by the attorney with respect to the term? And if we could do it for a 36-month period, we'll
Yes.
do that, and otherwise I'll work with Dana and the vendor to try to.
Great idea. And I'm assuming then that the 454 that previously that Pitney Bowes was giving us was based on a 36-month lease as well, not a 21-month or something that expired. Okay.
Okay, so, can we have a motion?
Question, please?
Yes.
Yes. Well, the lease expires on the 31st, and you said we're going to be done with them, so what is going to happen with that? Because it's in a couple days.
Yeah, we should be.
4 days.
I thought we were going to approve it subject to.
To the term, yeah, I mean, so I think we can resolve it within that time period. It's not a complicated issue, I think if we can look
I
at it.
mean, what if there is a change in price because you're not doing the 36-month, if you cannot? Is that something that,
Well, I think if it's, if it ends up being something extreme, the current vendor has agreed to extend on a month-to-month basis if necessary.
Do you know anything about that, Dana?
that we can do a month-to-month?
We have a month-to-month with our current vendor.
We should be able to,
That's what it says in the packet.
oh, it does, okay, then that should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know, with most vendors, when you do shorten the lease, it is more money, so there's probably a very good chance it's not going to be the same price. So that's definitely be an issue, if you go to 24 months or less than 36.
And it'll be
It probably will not be
next
the
time
same.
also then? We have to be on the agenda to approve a new price.
Unless they're willing,
Well, hopefully it's not going to be an issue.
unless they're
Well,
willing.
that's thrown
Exception
out.
or some way we can get around it.
Or could the vendor would agree to a provision that said that there'd be further time period subject to the next board's approval.
Or maybe if we could even subject to the next board not canceling it.
Not
Like
can-
that
that's
way the
even
next board
better.
has a,
Right.
and then what we could do is we could say if it does get canceled within the 36-month period, that there might be, have to be a charge to make up for the range. So that I think would fix it.
Excellent.
Yeah, okay.
So we have a couple days to talk to them, I'm sure they're. Okay, so can we,
We had a motion, we had a second.
on the amendment, that it's subject to the review of the term?
I will make a motion, yeah, an amendment, subject to approval by our township attorney on this 36-month limitation because our term expires. Prior to that, that we have, I don't want to say workaround or a provision to allow for us to make this decision. And if in the event we cannot, or Carrie Lynn, can you help with what?
Otherwise, we'll go to a month.
We'll go a month to month, okay.
Second.
That's sufficient, I understand the direction.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Did you get that?
That's okay.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, didn't hear you. Trustee Carabota?
Yes.
Trustee Sweeney?
Yes.
And that concludes the new business. Next is officials report. Do you want to start?
I attended the National Night Out, and it was another excellent evening. Everybody had a good time, and I want to thank Clerk Gilamas and our staff that came and volunteered their time, the Cook County Sheriff, and all the other agencies that came. It really was a success. The weather was beautiful, and it was educational and entertaining. So, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Trustee Sweeney?
I just want to compliment Clerk Gilamas and the success for National Night Out. Thank you.
Trustee Claybrook?
Yeah, again, I ditto that with Clerk Gilamas did a very excellent job. A lot of people had a great time. Most important part of the National Night Out to me every year is that evening walk when we walk through the neighborhood, police officers along with pedestrians, civilian people, neighbors and residents of the community, and then also bringing out residents from their homes and follow us, etc. They had their vehicles with the sirens and all that, and the glow sticks were a true success again this year, where Peter would have the glow sticks given to the police officers and they would hand them out to the children. It was fantastic, and just an excellent job. And they also thank everyone who participated tonight and stayed tonight for our meeting.
That concludes your report. Do we have an officials report from Assessor Craig?
Sure. I'd love to. I want to comment too on... Oh, okay. I'm not loud enough?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I want to comment too about National Night Out. I know last year we had to cancel it because of the weather, and it turned out to be a perfect night. And I know what's involved in doing that. I did it for many years until Pete was so gracious to take it over from me. So I know the meetings and getting everything together and getting the night done, it does take a lot of work. So kudos to you, my clerk. Just want to mention that the letters came out to our residents, were mailed on Friday for the appeals, the results, and a lot of our residents actually didn't receive them until Monday, and today was the last day for a re-review. So anything that our residents wanted to submit to the assessor's office to have them look at a review on the appeals. We have a lot of people who they really should have deserved to get a reduction from everything that was done in consideration of their neighbors and how low theirs were and how high some of our residents had. And so within the last 2 days, we had over 300 people come to our office, and we've had about 150 phone calls. So today was the last day for the re-review. So if they didn't get that out, we were trying to fax all day, and that was a slow go. We'd send out a fax maybe 4 or 5 times to the assessor's office because it was either fax or by mail, or I guess if they went downtown. So what's going to happen now? What's the continuation of this? Well, from our guesstimation from prior years, we have about 3 or 4 weeks when that review gets done, and then we'll be open with the Cook County Board of Review. We don't have a date for that. We probably won't get a date for that for 2 or 3 more weeks. I'm already talking to Commissioner Dan Patlak. We're going to have something in our boardroom for a reach out seminar so people can actually come at night and we can help them do an appeal with the Board of Review. So we're hoping that some of these people that really did deserve to get some kind of reduction, that the Board of Review will be a little bit more generous to them. And you know what, everybody should just be treated fairly and pay the fair amount. I mean, we're all taxed and we feel the burden, but everybody should pay their fair share. It shouldn't be right that someone has to pay extra more than they should. That's our feeling. So very willing to help our residents, and they were very thankful for us helping them. So I want to, my staff is really good, and I'm there because people want to talk to the assessor. So and that's my report. Thank you.
I think that concludes the officials' reports.
I can just say a quick word. I just wanted to thank everybody as well, all the volunteers, the board, our staff, and especially Doreen, who is really my right hand on getting everything taken care of for National Night Out. So without you, I definitely couldn't do it. It really was a nice time this year. We had a lot of participation from different members of the community, such as 7-Eleven participated for the first time this year. They were blown away with the amount of people that came. Really pleased. They're looking forward to coming back next year. So thank you all. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Doreen.
Yes, thank you, everybody. We did get an administrator's report in written form. I don't know if the administrator has anything to add.
Just ditto and thanking everybody. I would have everyone, all the departments represented in National Night Out. And thank you to some of our vendors donated some nice gift cards to the poster winners of the poster contest. Our makers donated, and some other people donated as well. So they always come forward every year. I think in November last year we got it out, which was not good, so we had to do better this year. So again, just thank everyone for participating. Any illustration?
They're here. Yeah, I think they're going to come up, right?
You're up there.
Oh, yes.
I also just wanted to thank Chris. We've got the audit, so that's in the board packet report. It will be online, so hope it will be online. It already is, maybe, I don't know, shortly if not, so thank you.
Yes, thanks, Chris. And I believe we have a closed session item, review and approval of closed session minutes of February 26, 2019. So can we have a motion to go into closed session?
Motion to go into closed session.
To review the closed session minutes, we just gave them a motion. To review
You know what this is?
Yeah, to review the closed session minutes, which are part of the board, February 26, which will provide the board packet.
Give me a second, is that?
Yes.
Trustee Jones? Trustee Kenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabotto?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
If we can adjourn for the closed session.
Motion to reconvene?
Second.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee McKenzie?
Yes.
Trustee Carabotto?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
We took no action in closed session, and can I get a motion to
Adjourn.
Adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.